Welcome to Dynamite. Guys, Dynamite Delight needed more. This show needed more. It needed more. Now, I'm sure people are going to say, what? You're saying this show needed more? AEW is perfect. Forget that. As I've always said, I'm going to tell you by my perspective how it is. I don't kiss nobody's butt. This show was lacking. It was missing something. Opening of the show, the street fight. You guys tell me below. What would you rather see? This match versus, Wardlow versus Scorpio Sky with top team all outside. What would you rather see? This or a parking lot fight where utensils could be used, where they had cars in there, where they had anything could go? What would you rather see? A parking lot fight or a street fight that they put on? Because that didn't feel like a street fight. If it felt like you to a street fight, more power to you. But me, that did not feel like a street fight. It did not look like a street fight. It just looked like a no DQ, no countouts, one side more heavily skewed to another. It kind of reminded me of the 20-man handicap match that Wardlow had when he was going up against all of the security men. That's exactly what happened. And it didn't feel like much. Now, I'm not saying that Scorpio didn't try his best and Wardlow didn't try his best and they tried to put on a good match. They did a decently good match. But if you're saying it's a street fight, don't you think they should be doing street fight stuff? Using kendo sticks, using cans, using whatever they need to win? Hell, it should have been a parking lot street fight or a parking lot fight. That would have felt like it meant more. But they didn't want to go there. To me personally, it was lacking. I'm glad to see Wardlow won, and I'm hoping he'll keep that title and not revert back to the white and gold title. No, the red and gold title. I like the one that is gold with purple, or whatever purple accent that is. I'm hoping to keep it. I'm glad Wardlow won it, but it was lackluster. I'm sorry, they should have done a parking lot fight. Let's move on. Butcher and Blade versus Swerve and Keith Lee. I did not expect Swerve and Keith Lee to lose here. Here's the thing. Hearing Smart Mark Sterling wants to get rid of Swerve. You guys know how I feel. He's charismatic as hell. He talks great. No problem. He's got a good look. But in the ring, Swerve Strickland just does not do it. He does not sell very well. He just doesn't. He's great when he gives it. In other words, give it to somebody else. But when it's time for him to actually sell for somebody, he's lackluster. He just doesn't sell that well. Keith Lee sells better than him, and he's a big guy that's hard for him to sell. He's got to do it in a certain way, and Keith does sell very well for a guy of his size, to either small guys, medium size, or big guys. I'm not saying he does it perfectly, but he does sell well. But Swerve just doesn't. But I'm not taking away from any of the other stuff he's got. He's got a good look. He's got charisma. He's got mic skills. He's got it. And he can go in the ring when it's only him doing offense, where it makes him look great. But when it's time to do the other guy, it just doesn't look right. And I didn't expect him to lose, and I'm moving on. Now, I do have to say, afterward, when it came to Hobbs and Starks and Bucks, the people were cheering for FTR because the Bucks they want to do a triple threat next week for Fyter Fest. And everybody was cheering for FTR. Now, later, they did talk. And it's obvious they're going to build up into the Bucks going against FTR eventually. It's going to happen. But I'm glad they're not rushing it. It didn't need to be rushed. And I'm glad they did it this way. No problem with me. Now, I want to talk quickly about the Baddies. What did I say about Red Velvet not being there and they're bringing in somebody else? This new woman I talked about, and there's a good chance I'm not putting any images in this. I'm just going to upload this straight, just this time. When you look at this woman, she looks like a baddie. When it came to Hathaway, he brought her in saying that we need another baddie. Our current baddie's out. Let's bring an interim baddie in. And this woman, I can't remember her name right now. She's like, yes, she's gorgeous. The question is, And this is what I've been saying. Is this woman there only to back up Jade Cargill, or is she actually going to get over? Because as I predicted, because no one didn't like what I said. I mean, these two people didn't like what I said. I said I'm worried because I'm worried that Red Velvet and the Kiera Hogan were not going to get over, and this was only about Jade Cargill having just lackeys. And I wanted to see all three of them get over, but guess what we got? It doesn't make a difference if they've been getting over on Elevation or Dark. It's not been on Dynamite, and it's not been on Rampage. And since they have not rebooted ROH yet, where maybe these two women could actually be there, nope. Nothing. Kiera Hogan has not had that much time to talk. She has done some wrestling matches where she's mainly jobbed. Same thing for Red Velvet. And the only time when Red Velvet or Kiera Hogan didn't lose is when Jade Cargill had to step in and save their asses. So I am not happy about it. I wanted all three of these women to get over, not one. If you're happy she's getting over, more power to you. And I'm not against Jade. I want to make this clear. I'm not against Jade. I'm glad they're putting a lot of stock in her. But you got three women that could be great for your roster and mean something if you book them right and then let them loose and then have some new women for new baddies to take their spot. But they haven't done it. It just upsets me that they're not doing anything with these women. Well, and along with Red Velvet being out, this other woman, I can't remember her name right now. She's from New York. I can't remember. I'll remember eventually once I see enough of her. But let's move on. Now, what do we got here? Penta El Squero versus Rush. Not Rush. Rush. This was the highlight of the night. It was good. Not a bad match. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Now, I want to say this. When it came to the Strickland and let me give it to you like this. When you see this match compared to the tag match that came with the Butcher and Blade with Swerve and Lee, there was no great chemistry there. When you saw Strickland working with the Blade, Braxton Sutter, that was botchy as hell. They had bad chemistry. I'm telling you right now, those two have bad chemistry. Now, when it came to Keith Lee working with them, it wasn't too bad for a Blade or a Butcher for that matter. But Swerve did not work well with Butcher. He literally landed on Butcher's head, and it wasn't because not Butcher, Blade. I'm sorry. Blade, it wasn't the fact that Blade did not go all the way with the move. It's because that Strickland was sloppy with that move. And Blade and him just don't have great chemistry. And Blade pretty much got his head squished into the mat. In other words, like that. Splatted. Now, I know some people would say, well, Blade messed up. Now, I'm not saying 100% it was 100% Blade's fault. Did he slow down a bit? Yes. But Strickland didn't really understand who he's working with. He really, and like I've always said, Strickland just doesn't do it correctly. But now when you look at Penta versus Rush, this was a bit different. It was a good timed match. Now, I'm not into, Lucha Libre. But I will say, watching it enough, I can understand what's a good Lucha Libre match and a bad one. This one wasn't bad. It was a good Lucha Libre match. Now, you saw Alex and Jose going at it. Why don't they just put these two in the ring and actually just let them have a damn match? Because this has been building for quite a while. When it comes to the Death Triangles, Alex, and the El Idio, Jose, they have more than once butted heads.